In the summer of 1892, America would witness one of the bloodiest confrontations ever to occur between labor and management. The Carnegie Steel Empire was at the height of its power when a disagreement over wages with the Amalgamated Association of Iron and Steel Workers erupted into a fierce battle at the Homestead Works along the Monongahela River near Pittsburgh. The outcome of this confrontation would not only affect the fate of the individual workers in the mill, but labor unions throughout the entire country.
Frick wants us to cut our wages 15% because the price of steel has dropped. I told him we won't go below what we've had for the last 3 years under our present contract. We fought for those wages and we won't let him cut them now.
Boys, I said I would have nothing more to say to you. Nonetheless, I have come down here this one last time with a proposition. In our new contract, we offered you a wage scale of $22 based on tonnage. Now, if you will sign tonight, I'm prepared to go up to $23.
How long a contract, Mr. Frick?
A year and a half.
You're cutting a 3-year contract back to a year and a half? What kind of an offer is that?
I don't have to guarantee you even a $23 minimum for that matter, gentlemen. But I'm ready.
That's all you're ready to do?
No. I'm prepared to sign individual contracts with each of you on my terms.
Individual contracts, Mr. Frick. We have a union here, the Amalgamated Association, and it's stronger than individual workers. Your terms will have to meet with their approval.
I've made my offer. Just decide quickly. It's growing late.
Mr. Frick, if you please, we all work in this mill, as you do. It is not perhaps a garden, but we are used to it, and I even like it here. What we are asking you to realize, sir.
Pulled by 2 tugboats, Little Bill and Tide. They were armed with Winchester rifles. By 2:30 in the morning of July 6th, the strikers were aware of the Pinkertons' move down the river as the men on guard duty started the barges passed under the Smithfield Street Bridge near downtown Pittsburgh. By 4 o'clock, the Pinkerton guards arrived in Homestead, and the town mobilized to meet them. The events that would follow the Pinkertons' arrival would go down in history as the Battle of the Monongahela, and would make the Homestead Strike vastly different from the most strikes that had come before. As the barges came into sight, they were greeted with a barrage of gunfire and stones hurled through the air. Nearly 10,000 men, women, and children gathered on the river banks, armed with anything they could find. Some carried firearms dating from the Civil War, but many others grabbed anything they could, from sticks, stones, and even clubs made from boards pried off fences. Despite the gunfire, the barges pressed on, reaching the entrance to the mill near dawn. As the barges pulled up to the entrance, the strikers began to charge the fence that Frick built around the mill. In a matter of minutes, it was flattened, and thousands of strikers and their supporters poured into the mill to meet the Pinkerton guards. They were then met by a captain of the guard, Charles Nordrum, who took the crowd that they were not looking for trouble as he pulled down the gangplank. The crowd, however, seemed little inclined to believe him, as another round of chaos ensued. As no Pinkertons had yet been hurt, Nordrum told his men not to return fire. Over the din, the Pinkerton commander, Frederick H. Hind, told the strikers that his men would take control of the mill. However, the strikers did not take this announcement well. They rained rocks down upon the Pinkerton boats. 3 men raced forward to grab the gangplank. 2 took hold of either side, while 1 lay over the end. As Hind attempted to step over the man, he was shot in the thigh, which knocked him backwards, and the strikers opened fire once more. This fresh round of gunfire killed 1 and wounded 4 more Pinkerton guards. Now that the blood had been spilled, the Pinkertons retaliated. More than 30 strikers and sympathizers died. The Pinkerton guards then grabbed their dead and wounded from the ship deck and pulled them below. At the same time, the strikers retreated up the hill behind the mill and began to build barricades from scraps of steel and pig iron. While the initial violent outburst lasted less than 3 minutes, it left dozens dead and wounded. For the next several hours, blasts of intermittent gunfire echoed through the air. The confrontation seemed to have come to a stalemate, with both groups struggling with their own dilemmas. The Pinkerton guards needed a way to reach the shore to take control of the mill, and When the violence of June 6, 1892 was ended, The strike continued on. Finally, on July 10th, the troops that the sheriff had cried for so desperately during the battle arrived. The more than 8,000 men imposed martial law on the town of Homestead and took back control of the mill. In the months that followed, the company brought in scabs to reopen the mills. The strike had many consequences in several sectors of life. For the first major incident on July 6th, the media had taken hold of the story, causing major sensations throughout the country, sparking debates that would rage for months. Along with these debates over the relationship between labor and managers, the public opinion of Carnegie came under fire. While he had left for Scotland in May, he had not returned before the battle. It was obvious that he was in close contact with Frick throughout the whole strike. The pair refused to call off the guards or to make a deal with the union, and to bring a peaceful end to the strike tarnished Carnegie's reputation forever. Aside from public opinion, the strike proved to be extremely detrimental to the cause of labor unions and steel mills. After the strike, the Homestead Works would forever be unorganized, along with all of Carnegie Company's steel mills.